What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Dark Crisis, the Deadly Green one-shot. And for this one-shot, they brought in a little bit of everybody, from writer Ram V to the artist Brent Peoples. This does take place before our newest issue of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. In fact, issue number 5 is going to be the next video, and it will very loosely tie into that one, which is why we are covering this one first on the channel. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, make sure you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so we are taken underneath the Hall of Justice. Both Jade and Obsidian, the children of Alan Scott, they have been summoned here because underneath the Hall of Justice, that is where we have Justice League Dark. With the Great Darkness now approaching Earth, we have a little bit of everybody down here from both of our Swamp Things. And we're gonna explain why Alec Holland is here in the first place. But we'll get to that a little later on in the comic. But we have Raven, we have Dr. Fate, Yara Flor, Jonathan Kent, Dick Grayson, and of course, Constantine. This is their Super Seance, explaining to the twins that the Great Darkness is now upon them. Obsidian knowing this to be true because his powers, they are born of darkness. He can feel the wrongness within his shadows. But there is a plan, a way to get close to the darkness. A strategy that is littered with risk, with Alan Scott going on to say that in the past, the Lantern Rings, particularly his, have shown a connection to the primordial darkness. It had been designed to absorb and shape magic, bend it to his will. That same will be able to shield them, but the ring is a place of magical fire. So he has to take the darkness into its light. They need to bring the darkness into Alan Scott. That is why Obsidian is here. And after coming to this realization, this is something that he is very much opposed to. He doesn't want to flood his father with this kind of darkness. He knows what it will do to him. He knows how painful this will be. He also understands how very dangerous this could be. But with a little bit of reassurance, he does agree to do this. With the teams chosen, our two Swamp Things being tethered to the green, they should have power over the constructs that they will find inside the ring. Having Raven, a sorceress, a teleporter, traversing the astral plane. And of course, we have our magician. Going along with them, of course, is our brand new Superman. All of the other heroes, they are going to stay behind. If something comes out of this darkness, they are going to be the first line of defense against whatever that may be. With the Green Lantern ring being affected by a little bit of darkness, we see the Green Lantern flames. They grab hold of all that are going inside of it, and they are transported inside the ring, with Alan Scott in some kind of trance as he holds the ring. Obsidian more or less putting darkness into him. Our travelers, they find themselves inside of this construct. As they look around to their new surroundings, Raven notices that Holland, the Swamp Thing, is not with them. And that is because Alec Holland, he is nothing more than a memory from the green. He has no human will. He cannot manifest himself inside of this place. And so right now, he is residing inside of Levi. With our Swamp Thing letting Superman know that we have to get moving. The Great Darkness is going to swallow this place very quickly. We are on a very, very strict time schedule. As Superboy goes to jump into the air, trying to fly and see what he can see around them, he quickly finds that this place is not the same as his reality. In this place, he cannot fly. Raven is unable to teleport as well. So if they are gonna do this, they have to do it all by foot. And with Raven being their guide, they make their way through this construct. Meanwhile, we have John Constantine, who is out doing his own little trip. You see, John Constantine, he didn't come in here to join with them. He came in here to have a conversation. He is here to talk to the darkness itself. because he wants to know, why is the Great Darkness here? Why is it awake? Why now of all times? But the darkness lets him know that this isn't my return. The truth is, I have always been here, in the shadows, in those hiding places, the places that so many are terrified of. I have been sitting here and I have been waiting for all of the lights to go out and for the show to truly begin. And so while John Constantine has this conversation with the Great Darkness, we pick up with Raven and the others. And after spending quite a little bit of time inside of here, we are seeing the Great Darkness start to have its effect. We see Superboy is starting to lose his temper. He's becoming irritated. He is becoming irrational. And we see on the back of his neck that there is some kind of infection growing throughout him. This is the Great Darkness. Even the Swamp Thing is noticing the changes to his very own body. This is when Superboy, he recognizes the vehicle he landed on when he tried to fly, which makes him believe that they are going in circles and Raven has no idea where she is going. This is when both Superboy and the Swamp Thing, they begin to turn on Raven, believing that they are lost, believing that their guide has failed them. She tries to let them know that your minds are playing tricks on you, that Alan Scott's mind, it is trying to protect itself. His constructs, they are recoiling from the darkness, which means every time they take a step, it's kind of like a changing labyrinth. Not necessarily that they are lost, but if they keep going in the direction that they are going, Raven will eventually find where they need to go. This is when Superboy just loses it. The Great Darkness slowly beginning to infect him and Swamp Thing both turning on Raven, saying that they should have known. Her connection to the darkness made her a liability, that she is just running them in circles and that she might very well be working for the Great Darkness, knocking both of them down on their butts. Raven lets them know that she is here because she understands the darkness, that she lives with it every single day. She can also tell when it is affecting them, and that is exactly what is happening. While she tries to let them know this, they are both teaming up to try to take her down. Raven recognizing that she doesn't necessarily want to hurt them, but lead them where she wants. And so she makes them go chasing after her. Meanwhile, underneath the Hall of Justice, we have Obsidian, who is still putting that Great Darkness, or the darkness, into Alan Scott. It is hurting him more and more with every minute that is passing. And while Obsidian would love to stop, if he does stop now, the balance will be lost and the heroes that are inside the ring, they will be gone forever. This is hard for Obsidian because he is flooding his father with nightmares. Every moment of panic when you think you are losing someone dear to you, every dark thought that has ever come to you at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep, he is feeling a lifetime of that all in the same moment. And so while Alan Scott fights with everything that he has, we are taken back to John Constantine and the Great Darkness, coming to him in many different forms to include Trigon. It's really trying to fill John Constantine with doubt, saying, can John truly do the job? Do you trust Swamp Thing to fulfill this task? Can Raven truly overcome her darkness when she is standing face to face with the Great Darkness? Now, of course, John Constantine, he is a smart aleck. He is freaking just vanity out the wazoo. The Great Darkness even saying this, saying, you are so small in comparison to me. I could squish you like a bug in the palm of my hand, and still you have insolence. Still, you want to talk back to me. You want to make jokes about all of this. Even as you stand in front of something that has been here before everything, before the first star ever began to burn. You are standing in the face of timelessness, and you think you are being tested. You think this is some kind of game. The truth is, why would I test you? Why would I waste my time in doing something of that nature? Because he doesn't need to corrupt John Constantine. He doesn't need to try to take him over. He knows the Great Darkness. It knows that John Constantine will be his own undoing, that it is only inevitable at this point for it to happen. It is not a matter of if, but it is a matter of when. And so he tells him, laugh it up. Enjoy it while you can, because the day will come when you will be your own undoing. picking back up with Raven, Superboy, and Swamp Thing. Raven is doing everything she can to hold these guys off without actually hurting them. But after taking some good punches, we see Raven grab hold of Superboy's head, letting the warmth, letting the good cut through the great darkness, helping him remember who he is. As the Swamp Thing goes in to smash Raven, Jonathan Kent stops him, lets him know that this is in fact Raven, that she is trying to help us, that we are currently under the control of the Great Darkness. Not its full control, but it is having its effect. When they wonder how Raven wasn't affected by the Great Darkness, it's because she's born of darkness. She plays that line every single day. While they are creatures of the light, that help them endure, that could not stop the Great Darkness from having some kind of influence over them, and that they haven't been walking in circles. They haven't been lost. The truth is, this place is like a changing labyrinth, but the darkness inside of her, it will always pull her towards the Great Darkness. That is why she knew where to go. That is why she was the guide through all of this chaos. And now they find themselves at the very doorway to the Great Darkness. Not sure what they're gonna find. They are gonna have to do something drastic if Swamp Thing and Superman are going to be able to go through there and stay in their right mind. Meanwhile, underneath the Hall of Justice, we see that the situation has gotten much worse. The Green Lantern flames completely surrounding Alan Scott. It is becoming more and more dangerous. If he stays under much longer, we may lose him completely. And that is where Jade and Obsidian, they go in to help their father. Obsidian has been sitting here not wanting to get any closer to Alan Scott, too afraid that he is going to make Alan Scott go over the limit. But Jade reminds him that you couldn't, that our father is too strong for that. And right now, he needs us more than ever. And so while they go to help their father, Raven, Swamp Thing, and Superboy, they are preparing to go into whatever this is. Now Raven, she is unable to do so. If she walks into there, the Great Darkness will for sure be able to take her over. That Swamp Thing is the only one that can truly go in there without being affected. And even then, he cannot stay in there very long because it will inevitably take him over. And so Swamp Thing lets Jonathan know that individually, the Great Darkness, it could very well consume us. But if we work together, we might have a chance. Being a child of Krypton, but also a child of Earth. They are human at their best. They raise each other up. This is where we see Swamp Thing begin to attach himself to Jonathan Kent. As they prepare for their journey, we are taken back to John Constantine, still having his little chit-chat with the Great Darkness. And John Constantine is letting the Great Darkness know that you have sat here in the shadows for so many years. You have watched us time and time again. You know better than anybody that human beings, they are able to find their way out of the dark. No matter how long it takes, no matter how long they sit in the darkness, they find their spark. They find the light. And the Great Darkness is letting John Constantine know that I am not to blame for what is happening. The Great Darkness is simply just is. Its job is to consume the light. It is not evil, it is not good, it just is. And when it comes to John Constantine, it has always looked at him with fascination because it has sat here in the black for all eternity. And John Constantine's flicker is the only light that the darkness gets. That he would never snuff out John Constantine because that is something that he will manage to do all on his own. Saying that even the Great Crisis, this is all of John Constantine's making. That's where we have Jade and Obsidian standing next to their father, helping him deal with this pain, helping him deal with all of this trauma and turmoil, all of these nightmares, everything that he is enduring. As Alan Scott looks over his shoulders, he sees both of his children sitting there helping him, guiding him, bringing him back into the light. And with that, we see all of the Green Lantern flames come back into the ring. The doorway is now closing up. Our heroes that are inside, they have a matter of moments to be able to get out. And that is where we pick up with our super Swamp Thing. The powers of Jonathan Kent, the powers of Swamp Thing, they have combined into one entity. But even with the help of the Swamp Thing, they can only endure the great darkness for so long. Seeing some kind of obstruction, a splinter in the darkness, Jonathan makes his way over there, grabbing hold of it and ripping out. He pulls out a giant machine. He pulls out Pariah's machine. The fulcrum of all of this, they have finally figured out, is Pariah. As John Constantine is now coming back into the world, we see a portal open up from Raven. All of our heroes are coming out of it, and now they have a little more understanding of where all of this began. They know that Pariah is officially responsible for what is currently ongoing, or at least his machine from the first crisis is responsible. Somehow this thing got lodged into the darkness, but now that they have it, now that they have taken it out of the great darkness, they think maybe, just maybe, they might have a chance. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This was definitely a fun tie-in one-shot. We get to explore some of the Swamp Thing, we get to explore what Justice League Dark has been doing all of this time. Though not all of Justice League Dark is here, we get to see what John Constantine is doing. We get to see his conversation with the Great Darkness. And he learns how he is tied into all of this, how Pariah is tied into everything that is currently ongoing. It was definitely a fun opportunity to highlight a lot of our characters that we don't get to see a lot of, be it Alan Scott, Obsidian, Jade, all of these individuals that we have slowly seen been brought back into the modern era. We have seen them used more regularly, and now during Dark Crisis, they are finally getting a chance to shine like they haven't got in some years. The combination of Superman and Swamp Thing is a very, very awesome thing, and we get to see that Jonathan, he can see entire nations underneath his fingernails. Like, just imagine if the Swamp Thing could attach himself to Jonathan Kent on a permanent basis. If Jonathan Kent became the new Swamp Thing, it would literally be a force that is unstoppable. A half Kryptonian, a half human that is attached to the green. Someone that could very easily live forever. And of course, this is all building us up to what is about to happen in Dark Crisis issue number 5. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on everything going on with Dark Crisis, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you caught up on everything going on with this event. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you can't do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.